And a good morning to you. Welcome inside the Bottom Line. Lanny Ford soloing this morning. My buddy and my partner, Ford Rimbert, is snowed in a little bit up in the mountains. They had some rough weather up there yesterday. We had some weather around here. I hope everybody's got their power back. I know over in the Mooresville area, there were at least 5,000 people that were without power yesterday. And I think what I saw this morning, most of the power has been restored. There might be 1,000, 1,500 in the greater Charlotte area that still don't have power restored. Hopefully you got your power back. We were fortunate here at home. We did not lose power at work down at Times Oil. That part of Lincoln was without power most of the day. Right there where 321, if you were coming out of Lincoln and going towards Boger City, you crossed 321, there was power there. But if you were going back the other way, it was kind of spotty going back and forth. WLON in Lincoln was off the air most of the day yesterday due to the power outage. So rough weather came through. There's no doubt about that. And hopefully that is gone. Cold weather this morning. I got 27 degrees. Huge frost or freeze, I guess it was, from all the water that was in the air. And I had to do a little scraping to get rid of the water this morning because it was just it was frozen water on my windshield. So needless to say, I had to do a little scraping to get that taken care of. But it's good. It's all good. We're all good. But hopefully you're off to a good week. Maybe some more rain coming in tomorrow, and then the possibility of rain over the weekend. So that's all coming as the week rolls on. Temperature's going to be typical wintertime temperatures. It'll be 50s and 30s, maybe some 20s. I know up in the mountains this morning, I want to say it was about 14 degrees is what I saw when I watched the weather this morning. But let's get into sports already. If you've got some comments, you can post them up on Facebook. You can always call. It's 828-970-7537. You're welcome to call in. We'll put you on the air, talk to you. I won't embarrass you, I promise. We will keep it on the up and up. How about that? Let me see. Make sure everything's rolling here this morning and streaming. I was trying to get the Facebook feed up, and I can't find it yet, but that's okay. Let me give you some headlines from last night. I want to talk a little college portal. There are things I like about it, things that I don't like about it, but I can understand it. I guess that's the biggest thing. The Pittsburgh Steelers' final home game, probably final home game for Big Ben, went out with a win last night. As it was a pretty good game. It's ugly to start with. Steelers beat the Browns 26-14. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that does not clear up any playoff picture. From what, if I understand, because it just keeps the Steelers in it, but that does not guarantee them anything. Right now, they sit in 9th place. What they need, I'm looking through here. In the AFC, the clinches are Titans, Chiefs, Bengals, Bills, and Patriots. Colts wins tiebreaker over the Chargers based on best win percentage. Division tiebreak was initially used to eliminate Las Vegas. Wins tiebreak over Vegas based on head-to-head win percentage. So we're still waiting to see. Now, Pittsburgh's got to have some help as we move forward. I'm trying to find the scenarios here. That wasn't what I was looking for. There are still some things that have to happen to finalize the playoffs, but it's going to happen this weekend. Baker Mayfield will have surgery. He's got issues, I think, with his non-throwing shoulder, if I'm not mistaken, and his status for the final game is kind of up in the air at this point. He hasn't decided what he's going to do as far as the last game. Does he need to play in the last game to help improve his contract status to get a bigger contract? Has he done enough? I'm not sure. Milton said he got his power back at 4 a.m. He lives just outside of Lincoln, up 27. Stephen, good morning. Glad to have you with us this morning as well. I'm not sure what needs to be done for Baker Mayfield right now. But he said discussions on his status for Week 18. The one thing about him, whether he's not a top-tier franchise quarterback, is he a serviceable quarterback? Probably so. And the biggest question you have to ask yourself is, how do we replace him? Who do we put in that spot? You're talking about a 500 club. They're not going to get a great draft. This is not a great quarterback draft. And can they get somebody in there? What could they get for Baker if they wanted to trade him? So you'll have to kind of wait and see. But he's going to have off-season surgery to repair a torn labrum in his non-throwing left shoulder. He's played through it since week 2. I'll give him this. He's played through the injuries where a lot of players don't, but I think two reasons there. I think he's truly a competitor. Ego's a little large, but he's truly a competitor. And I think he understands he's got to have a good year to get that next big deal. The Browns are eliminated from playoff contention, so that's not an issue. And he has not ruled out sitting out the final game when they play the Bengals, but he said he would be conferring with his agent and family before making that decision. And I quote, "I'm an extremely competitive guy following the Cleveland loss at the Steelers on Monday night. Now it's time for me to start looking at what's best interest for me and my health." And that's kind of, what it is. It was not a good game. It was not a good game. I didn't think Ben had a great game. Now, I'm not saying it was a bad game, but I just didn't think it was a great game on his part. Let me give you some numbers from that. Baker was your top. He was your top statistic guy. Back up, I hit the wrong button. Baker was the top passer at 185. Najee Harris leading rusher at 188. Devon Peoples-Jones leading receiver at 76 yards. So when you look at it, it was not a great night in the box score, but it was, it's what it is. Now, what happens next, I don't think we know, but a lot of things. And here again, talking about the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, love the Cleveland Browns, but come on, let's be real here. Don't know. I'm not exactly sure that the Cleveland Browns are going to be a top-tier team. They have a few pieces. I still think they're probably missing that true franchise quarterback. And when you don't have all the pieces, you have to rely a little bit more on the quarterback position. Now, is Baker that guy? I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. When I look at here's finally found the box score. I can give you a little more detail on it. Big Ben went 24 of 46 for a dismal 123 yards, averaging 2.7 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, sacked twice. He had a QBR of 11.9. He's been a trooper, but, Baker didn't fare much better. Baker had a QBR of 14.8. He went 16 of 38, 185 yards, 4.9 average, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, sacked 9 times. So you take off those 46 yards that he lost in the sacks, and that takes his passing down quite a bit. I thought Nick Chubb was a little absent from the game last night. Didn't really hear anybody say why. He had 12 carries for 58 yards. Najee Harris, the big workhorse, 28 carries, 128 yards. He averaged 6.7 yards per carry. Big Ben was -1. Ben didn't throw it around a lot, but he did throw it around to 7 different receivers. The Cleveland Browns had 9 different receivers to get involved in that. But Big Ben, bless his heart, he can't move. I don't know. I would say that he is – I don't think he goes anywhere else to play. And I would say that that's probably what needs to be done. It's time for him to retire. Do I think he goes into the booth or as an analyst? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You go back and you look at Ben, and when you look at Ben's career, how many times has he said, I've just had enough, I'm going to retire? I've had enough. I'm just going to retire. I just don't. I don't know where he goes. I don't know what he does. Great career. Is he a Hall of Famer? I'd say yes. I'd say he's a Hall of Famer, but still just a little bit there of a like most players and especially quarterbacks, waited a little too long to get out. The only quarterback that I know or can remember in recent memory that probably should have got out earlier but was rewarded for staying in, but not based on his performance, but that was Peyton Manning. Most quarterbacks that go to a second team because they can't get out, it usually doesn't turn out well. But with Peyton Manning, it did. Peyton Manning was able to go to the Denver Broncos, and they had enough around him that he could manage the game and he could put another championship in the works. Milton said, I'm just questioning why bad offensive line play gets blamed on the quarterback. Well, it's a team thing. I'm not saying Ben. What I'm saying, Milton, is when you don't have the weapons that you need, it exposes you even more when you try to stay in there. You know, it's all a reflection of the group. We forget that it's a team thing. And, you know, one of the I guess, negatives behind Mike Tomlin is he's a defensive coach, so he's not developed the offensive side of the ball, especially with the offensive line play. If I'm not mistaken, Matt Rule is an offensive-minded coach, and that's why I've been surprised at how anemic the Panthers' offense is, because it's not been good. They've not, and now that can come back to a GM. That can come back to, you know, and there's still a lot of old-school GMs out there, and this is a fact. Offenses win football games. Defenses win championships. But here's the deal. You got to have enough offense to get there. If you can't get involved in the final plays, don't matter how good your defense is, you don't get anything accomplished. Now, with last night's game being over, let's see if I can pull up the schedule, because it did have a little effect. I don't know if they've made all the pairings yet, but we're going into Week 18 for the first time ever. And I don't know who you'll see play. One of the things, you know, Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers, have tied up and wound up with first seed, the top seed, all the way through. Does he sit this week? And then he winds up having, you know, 2 weeks off because he's going to get a first-round bye. So if he didn't play this week, you don't play the next week, then that's a long time for me. Even if he just goes up there and plays a half, I think he needs to be involved. But let's look at Week 18. Here's your matchups. It's Kansas City at Denver, 4:30 on Saturday at Mile High. Cowboys at Philadelphia, Saturday night, 8:15. That should be a great game. Philadelphia has surprised me this year. I didn't think they'd have anything for anybody, but it appears that they do. Sunday matchups. Cleveland will host the Bengals at 1 o'clock on Fox. Green Bay travels to Detroit. That's another reason. You know, does Aaron play or does he not play? I don't think it would hurt him to go out there and play for a half. Chicago travels to Minnesota at 1 o'clock. The Washington football team goes to the dismal Giants at MetLife. That's a 1 o'clock game. So here locally, we'll have one of those games, I guess. Colts are at Jacksonville. The Steelers are at the Ravens, and the Titans are at Houston. And I believe if Tennessee beats Houston, they have locked up the first-round bye and the top seed, home advantage all the way through. The afternoon games, the late afternoon games, and there's one night game, and it's all over. Afternoon games, the 4:25 games, Saints at the Falcons, the Jets at Buffalo. I'd like to see that one, but we'll have to watch Carolina go to Tampa Bay and get wore out. My guess is going to be, since that's a 4:25 game on CBS, that's going to be Romo and Jim Nantz. Not a Romo fan. I liked him when he first started. It's kind of wearing a little thin on me now. But you got the Saints at the Falcons. You got the Jets at the Bills. The Niners at the Rams. You've got the Patriots at Miami. The Seahawks at the Cardinals. The Panthers at Tampa Bay. and the night game, the nightcap, Chargers at the Raiders. And the most expensive ticket on that list all weekend is that Chargers at the Raiders. $309 is where ticket prices start. Your cheapest game, if you want to make it up to Buffalo, up to Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, is the Jets versus the Bills. Ticket prices start at $8. I would just check my weather before I went as well. Let me take a time out, and when we come back, I want to get into the transfer portal. 2 premier players have entered into the transfer portal. One I understand. The other one I'm not real sure about. I'll tell you who they are when we come back.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back. Glad to have you here on a Tuesday morning. Beautiful, cold Tuesday morning. I am loving it. You know how I feel about the cold weather. Fat man or former fat man, I do like the cooler temperatures a whole lot better. I saw this come across the headlines yesterday, and I guess this is the thing that kind of got me started. Milton made this comment before I move on. That's what he's talking about. Crappy O-line has destroyed many quarterbacks' careers. That is correct. You are absolutely correct. And I don't know how you can avoid that, honestly. You have had a few quarterbacks that have been able to navigate and be able to control their career without that. But it's tough. It's tough going. Steven said he saw where Caleb Williams from Oklahoma went into the portal. Rumors are that he's following Lincoln. And that's exactly where I was going with that, Stephen. I saw that yesterday, and that's kind of, what my thinking was. Now, I don't have a problem, I guess, with that scenario for the simple reason you can say that players sign up to play at certain universities, and there's a part of that, but you also sign up with the coaching staff that has recruited you, that has a specific plan for you. You fit their schemes, and they want to keep you inside that. And when that changes, that could also change what happens with you. So I like that part, and I like it that he won't have to sit out. And the other thing, he doesn't have to be in a hurry to transfer now, for the simple reason if he does go to Southern Cal, Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams are known commodities together. Now, I saw this. He announced on his Twitter that he would also still be reconsidering Oklahoma. So he hasn't ruled out that that's going to, if he's going to do that. Now, here's the other thing that is interesting that happened yesterday as well. Quarterback Dylan Gabriel announced he's transferring to Oklahoma only 18 days after announcing his intent to transfer to UCLA. He is entering the transfer. He entered the transfer portal after leaving Central Florida after 3 years with the program. A little over 2 weeks after entering the portal, he made his intentions to transfer to UCLA. Transfers don't sign any paperwork that binds them to the school they choose, though, because Gabriel hadn't enrolled at UCLA. So he's able to change his decision based on that. Now he's headed to Oklahoma. Now, was his decision to transfer to Oklahoma influenced by the fact that Caleb Williams entered the portal and is leaving Oklahoma? I like this. I'm completely okay with this. And it's happening after the season. I'm a little more bothered with players opting out of the bowl games. I think the bowl games are too much. I think you need to have a reason to play, and that would be that you have that reason to play would be for playoffs, expanded playoffs. I don't know if any of you were listening on Saturday, and I don't remember who the person was that said the bowl games need to be moved to the first game of the season. You like that idea? You don't have opt-outs then. And you have really better matchups, because then you can schedule top-tier teams like the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Bowl that they do in Atlanta. That's always a great game. Clemson and Georgia played that one. Think about if you had 15 bowls over Labor Day weekend, and it featured top-tier schools and talent. The other thing that happens when you do it that way, if a top-tier team would happen to get beat on that opening weekend, it usually doesn't have that long-term lasting effect as you do when you get beat later on in the season. So there's two things. And you're exactly right, Milton. Milton says sounds like college free agency. And it is. They're getting paid now, right? With NIL. Bryce Young supposedly made $1 million at Alabama. $1 million on NIL. If you're naive enough to think that players weren't getting paid under the table, now they're getting paid on top of the table, which is the way it should be. It should be happening that way. So I just think I like it. I do. I like the way that it works. And you see the effect that it has, where all these things. Gabriel started 12 games as a freshman at UCF, started all 10 games in 2020, finished with 3,570 yards, 32 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Caleb Williams had almost 2,000 yards in passing. Now, Spencer Rattler transferred out. He's headed to South Carolina to be a Chicken. Now, the other one that I am a little surprised, but I'm not going to say surprised, was the other player that has has entered the transfer portal, and let me look for it now. He's a running back at Wake Forest. Let me see. Yep, Christian Beal Smith. After 5 seasons, he's still got a year left. He'll enter the portal. During his 4 seasons with the Deacs, he ran for 1,800 yards, 14 touchdowns on 391 carries. So, you know, and I'm assuming, and maybe not, he is going to be a graduate transfer. Yeah, transfer as a graduate. But he's been the leading rusher for the past 2 seasons. So I guess I just don't have a problem with that one. I like it. As long as you're going to allow coaches to up and leave, not honor their contracts. Nobody honors contracts. But if you allow them to up and leave, you've got to allow the players the same longitude, I guess. Morning, Bill Klein. You got to give them the ability to do the same thing. And if there's anybody out there that thinks that college football is not a business, then you're just take the blinders off your eyes because you're not seeing it. Now, here's the other thing that's happening. It's happening on the high school level. You're seeing it all the time. You're seeing it all the time. So, you know, I saw some debate, you know, players not staying. Ford posted a good thing that Tubby Smith, basketball coach, had posted. And, you know, I'm a little bothered, and you can't have, I guess, restrictions or what's the word I'm looking for? You can't put things around why people can transfer, how they can transfer, stipulations, I guess you'd say. But I don't like that if you've got a player that doesn't like his role, that's a two-way street. If you go to play for a team that recruited you, same coaching staff is in place, and you feel like you're getting a raw deal, that can be as much your fault because you didn't measure up and deliver on what you were supposed to deliver on as well. So I don't think that all of that is about the environment and the coaching staff. When a coaching staff up and leaves like a Lincoln Riley did, then that's completely understandable. And I've always said that even when they used to penalize you, not let you transfer within the conference, not let you transfer at the same level, you had to sit out. You don't make coaches sit out. How's that fair? I've told you I'm all about consistency. I'm all about the same play on every level by all those that are involved. If you can't do that, then who's deciding what you can do and what you can't? That ain't right. So I just think you got to go back and look at it and make sure that everything was equitable and that everybody's getting kind of treated on the same level. You got to have kind of the same consideration for everybody, I think. So we'll find out, and there's going to be more. There's going to be more. Now, the other thing that comes up, and this is something that you've always talked about, and I'm just going to set this thought out there, and then I'm going to take a short break and come back. When you start talking about players and eras and who's the greatest, who contributed the most, I'm going to give you some details on why you can't do that. Not just because a lot of things change over time, but the scope of the season actually changes, not even counting rule changes. I'll get into that next.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call 4 Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back. We have this discussion all the time when you're comparing athletes, who's the greatest, how do you choose based on what they did, how would certain players that are in certain eras perform in eras with that the rules were different. And when I say that, go back to the day, we just lost John Madden, so let's go back to when he won his Super Bowl. When he won his Super Bowl, those were head-hunting defenses. When you came across the middle as a receiver, a back out of the backfield, you legitimately could get your head taken off. Now, that's not the case. You go to basketball. when Michael Jordan played, we had a sport that we played when I was in high school that was a cross between basketball and football. It was called animal ball. Anything goes. That's kind of the way the NBA was back in those days. You think about the Detroit Pistons, the bad boys from Detroit. That was rough basketball. Now you can't breathe on a player, much less touch a player. So how do you compare a player from today's era to the players of then? The 3-point shot from a lot of players was not in existence. Do you do it based on championships? And I bring all that up because now, and the other side of it is, you don't even go to baseball. That's a whole discussion on its own because of PEDs. But let's go to the NFL. 14 games, 16 games, 17 games. How do you base it? Do you take the first 14? Do you take the best 14 in today's era? How do you compare a player that has a total season rushing, receiving, passing in yardage season against a player that only played 14 games, because that's all there was, versus 16 versus now 17? Or do you not do it by totals? Do you do it by averages? How much did you average per game? But then it's skewed, even at that. Mark Alton said, still remember Jack Tatum's helmet-to-helmet hit on Darryl Stingley that legal back then, and it paralyzed Stingley. That was a Monday night game, if I'm not mistaken, Mark. I think I watched that one. And I think I've told you, Jack Tatum used to come to my hometown because he had relatives there. He was born in Waco, not far up the road. Atkinson, Mike Curtis, Butkus with the sickle, the clothesline. All that was legal. The length of careers now is longer because it's just not as brutal. So when you think about some of the players that you compare and that you talk about, how do you rank them? How do you determine where it goes? How do you come up with determining, or does it matter? Or do you pick players that were the best of their era? Go back. Barry Sanders, best running back of all time? My opinion would be short season, but got to be. Jim Brown, go back to that era. I'm not sure if they played 14 games when Jim Brown was playing. Both of those guys quit, retired, bored. Wasn't a challenge. Four says yes, best of era. I think that's the only way you can do it and be fair. I think because of the longevity of sports and how sports have evolved and changed, think about golf, equipment, body style. Think about the day when they played with wooden shafts, not titanium shafts or graphite shafts that are tuned. The space-age materials that are in the heads of the clubs, back then, it was a persimmon head, a wooden head with usually a plastic insert in the face. Non-forgiving, tell you that. Not the forgiving clubs you've got today. The ball, the compression of the ball, the distance that it travels. It's just, it's amazing. They've talked about things in basketball. Do we move the three-point line back? Do we raise the goal? What do we do to make it not look so easy. You know, in some sports that the average person plays, like me, which is golf, I have to use the old man tees. I can't get there anymore. I can't play 400-yard par fours from the white tees. I never was a long hitter, and that makes it even worse. But they kept lengthening these golf courses. I'd rather change the equipment somehow. If you want to make sure that everybody's the same, go to baseball. The bats, the balls, how they're wound, how they're made. Go to pitching. I don't know. Ford might be able to tell me this. What kind of speeds were pitchers pitching at, or do we know when Babe Ruth played? How would Babe Ruth do today against today's pitchers with today's balls? You know, I don't know. I just think you have to go back and look at it by error. Bill Russell, 11 championships. Can't hold that many up. 11 championships. He was a 6'8" center. We've got guards, even point guards bigger than that now. And he's never mentioned in the greatest of all time. He's never mentioned as the GOAT. Mark said Mike Curtis was the infamous clothesline hit on a hapless fan who thought it would be a good idea to run on the field. And Curtis, as Mike Curtis could only say, you step on my field, you play by my rules. And Curtis took him out. Wilt Chamberlain, Mark said, would be a hell of a player today's game. He was a freakish athlete to be as tall as he was. He really was. But now, Mark, the only thing about it, nobody plays an inside post game. Nobody plays from the paint. They don't want to be in the paint. It's all an outside game. Local legend has changed that, and that would be Steph Curry. And the reason kids growing up want to be like Steph Curry because you can shoot from anywhere. Everybody can't be 6'10", play in the post. Everybody can't have a body type like LeBron and be inside on the post. Things change. I just kind of get frustrated listening to people talk about the greatest of all time. You can't do it. Who's the greatest inside an error? When you've got, I just think you have to have measurables that you can do calculations on so that everybody's being measured by the same standard, being measured by the same rules, if you will. And if you can't compare them. When you do a scientific experiment, what you got to have? A control and variables. And if everybody doesn't have the same control, you can't make comparisons between the two because it don't work that way. Just my thoughts for today. That's my serious thought for today. How about that? Let's see. I'm going to head out of here. I'm back at work, real job, doing things. I got to get some stuff done and going. Forrest should be back with me on Thursday. Juju will join me in the morning. Bill Bender should join me again in the morning as well. We'll get his take on college football and other things. And hopefully you can join me as well. I look for you again in the morning about 8 o'clock. Have a wonderful day. Be safe and be blessed. I'll see you then. Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow.